All right, Reggie here. I got Will Hunt from Device. How's it going today, dude?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
Not a lot. Just like we were just talking about, just chilling up here in Indianapolis. Good old Indy. Finally got some good weather up here. Finally a day with no rain.
Right? No, damn, man. You guys need to come to Florida.
I would love that. You guys got a huge. There's a what is it? Welcome to Rockville going on down there coming up, I think. So
yeah, that's on Sunday. Big festival. We actually just did two big festivals. We did birthday and in Orlando and Fort Rock and Fort Lauderdale. So
nice. How are those shows?
Oh, killer, man. You know, anytime you get on a show like that, it's always a really cool blessing. And, you know, it's just like you're able to kind of hang out with some of your peers and see some of the bands, and you know, like everybody tries to up their game, and you know, I don't know, it's just a good healthy competition, you know.
Yeah, definitely. The festival shows they're awesome because you know there's especially for the bands because pretty much everybody's there. You know, all the bands you never get to see are there. But the sets are kind of condensed, you know. But yeah, festivals are great. I love them. So.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, man, you guys are just on the tails of the debut. Came out about 2 weeks ago. What was it?
Yep. It came out 2 weeks ago Tuesday.
Yeah, killer album.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It looks like everybody agrees, man. 35,000 units sold in the first week, debuting at number 11, man. People are buying albums again for the most part, it looks like. It's great to see that happening.
Yeah, I think I think it's like in the product, man. When you make something that stands up like that you know can be played from front to back, that's strong all the way through, people will buy it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like no excuses. It's like, you know, if you make something that's good like that, I think people will want to invest their hard-earned money into something. But if you make something that's, you know, let's just worry about 2 or 3 singles and we'll fill the rest of it up with whatever, then I think that, you know, people aren't stupid, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, but overall, did the album turn out as you envisioned when you went into it? Because I know a lot of times when you go in, you have to have an overall idea of what you wanted to come out with, but sometimes in the process it takes a different turn.
Well, I think, you know, this is a little bit of an interesting situation because, you know, really the record was made around Gino and David, and they kind of went into this they had an idea. You know, the first song that I heard was, you know, very different than Disturbed. The only thing that you could say that kind of was synonymous with Disturbed was, you know, David's vocal, which is, you know, unmistakable. You know, he is who he is, and I think that, but with what Gino was doing electronically with it, and that song, by the way, was a song called Hunted. I think that it really, you know, they kind of went from there, and that was kind of the, you know, I guess the starting area and the spawning of what they were really trying to do, and I think that they stayed true to that. You know, the record came out just like I thought that it would, which being that it had elements of, you know, a lot of hard rock. It had elements of, you know, electronica. It had elements of, you know, Disturbed. It had elements of Filter. It had all those things in it, but it, you know, all to make its own hybrid. And I think it came out just like, you know, we all hoped that it would.
Yeah, I mean, even was it Virus from Dope is on the record too, and it even has some elements of Dope on there too, a little bit. It sounds like.
That's not by design because actually, you know, Gino did everything on the record.
Okay.
Virus has come in, you know, after the fact to you know, to play the live shows and stuff. Okay. But I think that you know, it's interesting that you hear some elements like that because, you know, Dope was also sort of one of those hybrid bands that had, you know, some elements of electronica and a little bit more of a futuristic sound.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's why we all thought that he'd be a great fit.
Yeah, I mean, even Disturbed, you know, has a little bit of that electronic element to them, which this is like the perfect project for everybody involved. You know, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's so. Tell me a little bit about how you got to be involved in the project, Will.
I've known David for years. Disturbed took my band Skrape out on our first real tour. As a matter of fact, we were out on tour with them when our debut on RCA came out.
Oh, cool.
And, celebrated that with those guys. And they were on their first record. And Down with the Sickness, I think it just started to gain some traction. So they were headlining and thinking, it was kind of cool to be around that. But I've known them for years. And then I've known Gino for a while. I've done some session work with Gino and a producer, this guy Ben Gross, that actually mixed the Device album. And I was doing a session with Gino for another artist a year ago, January, and he mentioned to me that he was doing some stuff with David, and he played me Hunted, or it wasn't even finished yet. He played me a piece of it, and I was just blown away, by what it was and how different it sounded. And I've always loved David's vocal delivery and lyrics, and I just thought, man, I told Gino, I was like, man, listen, if that becomes something else, if it becomes a real project, I want in. He's like, well, that's that's why I'm playing it for you, because this is I want to bring you in. And so I went back to Evanescence to finish doing the mammoth tour that we were doing. And about 6 months later, I was in Europe, and Gino emailed me, and I Skyped him back, and he said, man, we're doing this full on. He's like, I'm going to send you 6 songs. And he sent me 6 more songs, and he said, man, we're working on some other ones. I'll send the rest of them to you. And, man, I was just like, holy shit, man, this is really going to happen. And that's, the rest is history, as they say. I mean, timing-wise, it couldn't have worked out better, because Evanescence was finishing in November and taking a hiatus. So it was great timing. I didn't have to ruffle any feathers to make it work, and didn't have to, didn't have to squeeze anything. It's just like there's a certain amount of fate and divine intervention involved with all of this, but it worked out great.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Device is a little bit. It sounds like a little bit of a different style than what you, for the most part, what you've done in the past. Evanescence and the other projects you've been a part of. Was it tougher or more of a challenge for you to do an industrial type album with Device, or was it something that came naturally?
It comes naturally, man. I mean, pretty much for me, it's just like I'm a chameleon, and when it comes to rock, I mean, if you want to throw me into playing in a jazz band, probably not going to work out too well. But if you want to throw me into anything rock based, I mean, if it's from freaking Radiohead to Muse to to Iron Maiden to AC/DC to whatever, I can play it. I'm not a speed metal guy. I can't do the blast beat thing. I mean, I can play fast, but that's not where I'm living. But I can own pretty much anything in rock, and just because that's the music that I love. Okay. And so for me, it was a natural fit, man. It's just like, we talk about elements of these other bands. I mean, Evanescence, particularly the last record that we did, was a little bit of a harder edge record, and one of the things that I could relate to is that there's a lot of electronica in Evanescence as well. And it's like these lavish soundscapes that we make with Amy, and so with this band, there's a lot of that going on. I think it's just more exaggerated. It's heavier, and it came real natural to me.
Okay. And when you're making an album, for a side project, with the amount of buzz and hype this Device has had, because the second it was announced, everybody, everyone wanted to hear it from like day one. Everyone was just like, what is it going to be? So when you're making an album with the amount of buzz and hype as Device, do you kind of shrug off, the buzz, the hype, and a little bit of the pressure and just go in? Or is that something you guys are thinking about, when you guys are making it, when you're getting ready to put it out?
I think that, anyone that's a real and a true artist, you don't go into something saying, okay, we're going to make a record that's going to please everybody. You go into it going, we're going to make a record that pleases us and pleases our ears. And I think that, for the most part, that's how it was approached with David and Gino. And I think that at the end of the day, when it's all done and you're listening back to it, and the wheels of the machine start turning, and it's about to get out there, and people are gonna have it so they can react to it. At that point, you go, okay, I really hope that people like this. It's one of those things where you really want to share, your work, and you hope that it transcends and people enjoy it as much as you do. And that's a true gift, and it's something that it's nice when it happens. But I don't think that you can go into making something for that purpose. I think that you have to make it true to yourself first, and then everything else kind of follows.
Okay, cool. So, let's talk about the album cover a little bit. To me, it's some very interesting cover art. It looks like it fits the album perfectly. It has that futuristic, almost sci-fi looking android figure. I don't even know how to describe that thing.
Well, that's actually that character was performed amazingly by David's wife.
Really?
Yeah, she spent. When we shot the cover, the photos we did the cover and the video all in one day. And she was probably in makeup and, getting the aesthetics and all that stuff done on her for 10 hours. And, yeah, there was a real Hollywood makeup guy that I believe, I can't remember the stuff that he's done, but he's a big dude. And he came out and did her all up. And by the time she was done, man, we were all a little freaked out. Like, whoa. Looked like, from Alien, God, it's going to kill you, But yeah, man. It couldn't have come out better. That's kind of what we all were looking for. It was kind of the idea. We wanted it to be not gory or grotesque, but kind of more sci-fi, alien, but still sexy and cool looking. And so, it just kind of came to. It's one of those things where you have an idea and you hope it can get executed, but this particular idea was executed to its fullest. It was amazing.
Yeah, the video is very dark, and the album is very dark. And you put the two together, just everything couldn't have turned out, like you said, couldn't have turned out better. It's just everything worked out just perfectly, it looks like.
Yeah, all the elements, really came together that, the visuals of it definitely complement the music perfectly.
Oh, definitely. And man, it just keeps getting better for you guys. You got the festival season, Rock on the Range, Welcome to Rockville, all these festivals. Right after that, you guys got Gigantour coming up. You guys were just in for that. So, are there any, obviously there's going to be some nerves when you're getting ready to go out and you're getting ready to perform this stuff live for the first time. What was it like performing this stuff live the very first time? Was it like a couple weeks ago, I think?
Well, you're right. It's like, particularly because this is, so in its infancy, it's a little nerve-wracking because, what we're trying to do and bring it in performance is pretty overwhelming. We're only 3 guys up there, so it's like there's a lot of I guess, some nervousness, while we're getting these first shows under our belts, that, okay, all these elements and these components going to come together and work for us, because you really you want people to get the full experience of, what Device is and can be. And so, yeah, I think but that's like with any tour in its infancy. It's just like, the first couple of weeks are always like a little nerve-wracking, and then you get into it and things start to be smooth, and then you can kind of start a stride, and then it becomes less nerve-wracking and more fun. Okay. And not to say that we're not having fun, but, haven't been able to calm my nerves down enough to, look around and smell the roses, so to speak.
Yeah, it's like anytime you release anytime a band releases a new album, whether it's the first album ever or they're 10 years into their career and it's a brand new album, anytime you're going out and performing brand new material for the first couple of shows, there's got to be all these things that are going through your mind. Am I going to hit this right? Are we playing the right songs? Yeah,
you're still trying to get the set list, the order right, so that the cadence of the set is conducive to, people getting the best show that you can give them. And so, those are all the little bugs that you work out in the first couple of weeks. And, we've been working that out. And I can confidently say that I think that we're at a point now where we feel pretty solid with it. There's probably not going to be a lot of shifting at this point, and we're pretty comfortable with what's going on, and everybody's kind of starting to settle into their roles. And, right now it seems like it's going pretty damn well, man.
Nice. And have you guys thought about, obviously it was just announced, you guys have probably known about it for a while. Have you thought about Gigantour at all? I know there's a relationship there between Dave Mustaine and David Draymond, working on, the new Megadeth album. Have you guys thought about any of that stuff yet? Or are you guys just kind of taking it one show at a time? That's where it's at.
Yeah, obviously that's on our radar. And we are, we're excited about it, man. We've known that was there for, I guess, about a month or so. David and Dave Mustaine have a great relationship. They're really good friends. They're writing partners. So I think it's really cool that Mustaine has extended his hand to us and believes in Device and wants us to be a part of that tour, and it's an honor. And I think that we're really all pretty excited that by the time we hit that tour, we'll be in that stride, and we can give people the best Device show that we can give them. So it's going to be exciting, man.
Nice. Is there a band that you haven't been a part of or worked with? Because looking at your career, man, it's like you've worked with. And then you add in all of the guest vocalists and guest performances and session artists on the Device record, and it's like you've been a part of or worked with like everybody short of like Jimi Hendrix, Kiss, and Zeppelin.
I'm waiting on those phone calls, man. So if you know anybody in those camps, if they need some help, come and give me a call.
I've been rumbling about a Zeppelin reunion, man. Maybe you can get in on that.
Yeah, I'm working that angle, man. Unfortunately, I think Jason's got me beat out on that. But no, you know what, dude? I'll be honest with you, man. It's like none of that was ever by design.
Yeah.
I never set out to be that guy. And I'm pretty sure if you ask Josh Freese, who's kind of, he's really the kind of go-to guy in LA. But if you ask him, he's probably got the same answer. And for me, it's like, if I'd had my withers, I'd be on the 10th Skrape record right now, and we'd still be kicking it. But, things don't work out that way. And, I just love playing, and I love music, and I like being a part of things, and I like building things and creating, and so for me, it's like the love of music is really what drives that, and I feel like I've been like extremely blessed to be able to do the things that I've done and play with the people that I've played. Like some of my heroes I've gotten to play with, and when you're a kid growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, you don't ever think anything like that can happen, and then it does. So you know what I mean. So you gotta, it's like. God throws these opportunities out in front of you, and you just got to kind of grab them by the balls and go with it and have, and enjoy it. And so, yeah, I've been lucky, man. It's been a great ride, but it's just started.
Yeah, and with Disturbed being on hiatus, and it looks like Evanescence is on hiatus right now. I think I heard something after Carnival of Madness last year. You guys were going to go on hiatus. This is the perfect time for Device to really heat up.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the timing couldn't have been better. Amy wants to take, a substantial amount of time down and kind of figure out what she wants to do. And I don't blame her. I think that this last album cycle for us, it was from the, you got to think from the inception of writing for the record to recording the record to touring behind it, which for Evanescence is no easy feat because we're so, that band's audience really lies outside of the United States. So we spent, I was in the United States for maybe 3 months out of all last year.
Wow.
And so it's a major undertaking. So on a certain level, like, all of us were kind of a little burn on it when we got done. And it was a great experience, but we really, that was a long cycle. And I think that for her, she just wants to, kind of sit back and enjoy it for a minute. And for me, I just, I like to play, and when opportunities like to come up like this one, I'm kind of not the guy that's going to go, I'm just going to chill. It's like, That's not me. I'm kind of like, are you kidding me? Yeah, let's fucking do this.
Well, you can't pass up, especially with Device, you can't pass up something like that, you know.
Right. I mean, if the material wasn't there and I wasn't blown away by the songs and who was involved and all that stuff, I wouldn't be doing this. But the music spoke to me, and that's why I'm here.
And especially with Amy, the last Evanescence album seemed like a very, lyrically, very personal, very deep lyrical album for her. It probably took a lot out of her to do that whole process. She probably needs a break,
It really does, man. It really does. And I think that the core fans kind of, because, they get into the lyrics and they know what she's singing about and how personable, she makes her lyrics, that it does take a lot out of her, and she's got a lot on her shoulders with that band, and, there's a lot of pressure, and, I admire her for how she, handles it. She's a tough lady, man.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, it's kind of like, if you asked all the guys in the band, hey, you guys want to take a break? Well, the answer would be no. The answer would be like, let's take 3 or 4 months off and then get back together. But I don't think that for her, I think she looks at it like, whether she consciously or subconsciously says this, I think she looks at it more like, I'm not ready yet to go to that place to make this music, so I need a minute. And I respect that, because, if she were to do that, then, the product wouldn't be what it is.
Absolutely. Device just heating up, just getting it started, festival season coming up after that Gigantour. Man, it just doesn't get better for you guys. Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's going to be exciting.